Good evening, my friends. Welcome back to We're Not Really Here. My name is Kel Spellman, and I'm sure I could speak for us all and say not quite the result any of us were hoping for. Definitely not going off our predictions. Full time is Manchester City 0, Manchester United 2. So here to get into the game, and of course that second half, Mr. David James and Joleon Lescott. Tough one to take, Joleon.
Yeah, it was.
What could you put it down to a few certain things of how we just didn't quite get the result that we wanted?
I think it's a collective. I'm trying to think who played well or who's been playing as well as they have been in recent weeks, and there's no one really. Like Cancelo was off it, KDB giving the ball away more than we're used to seeing. Gundogan wasn't really making the runs and getting in behind. Raheem and Riyad not really going past the fullbacks. So it was just a collective of things that we're not used to seeing. Normally, someone steps up and creates something and a moment of brilliance, but that wasn't the case today.
It wasn't, and I guess, David, we were kind of thinking, all right, we can go into these next 45 minutes, but to concede the second goal within those first 10 minutes, it was always going to make it that 10 times harder, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't go back on what I said at half-time. I thought that the game plan was right. Obviously not conceding early, but the game plan was right. I could see where City would get back into the game. But there's two factors. We didn't get a chance to see a replay of what looked like a penalty from here, if it was a foul or a handball, not long before the goal was scored. Henderson holding on the ball for, I think Ollie might have broken a record as a Man United manager, but I think he's broken a Premier League goalkeeping holding on to the ball record. Then Cancelo running out of position, which allowed Luke Shaw. I mean, it was a cute finish in the end. Yeah. And then Pep brings off Cancelo not long after, so he recognised there was a problem there. But listen, it's not a good result. You've got a side here, 21 wins in a row. You expect a win. Mm-hmm. The starting lineup, you expect that side to be good enough to win. But as I said at the beginning, and I wasn't tempting fate in it, that this is probably the sort of the wake-up call that Man City aren't invincible. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not happy at the moment because Man United, but as I say, my opinion is you're better off having a reality call by your arch rivals than you are the complete underdog somewhere else because people just dismiss it.
Yeah, I mean, the point you were saying, because we were just talking there, saying if it's a Fulham, for instance, they can maybe make the excuse, well, it's Fulham, it's an off day.
Yeah, and I think that it's probably not arch rivals because it hurts more. Yeah. You'll know. But in regards to a team that is competing at the top, like it was Spurs at the start of the season, they were contenders for the top four, and then you lose to them, and then it's like, okay, now we need to kick on, and that's the same going to be now. I don't expect us to be going into the next 4 or 5 games thinking, how do we get out of this? If we go and win the next 5, 6, I'll be like, yeah,
of course.
Again, it won't surprise me. So it's never nice. And it feels worse the longer it goes. The longer you go without losing, it's a lot worse. It's like the end of the world. Like, you got to think some of them, like Diaz won't remember that. It'll be a long time for all of them. But yeah, it's not nice when you lose.
Is it fair for me to say, did it feel a little bit reminiscent of maybe where City were at the beginning of the season? I mean, I think even if we look at the stats from today's game, again, I think we did control possession. I think we had, over 20 attempts, maybe not all of them on target. And I don't think United have maybe are in single figures. Did it feel a bit reminiscent, do you think, of that City maybe at the beginning of the season, David?
It was a slightly better version of the Tottenham 2-0.
Yeah.
I would say. The Tottenham goals were they weren't as actually. I think the first goal was quite early as well.
3
there,
minutes.
And there was they were kind of like, hang on a minute, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
The second goal was, hang on a minute, where did that come from? And Man City had a lot of possession, but there was more attempts on target today. Henderson, I thought, played pretty well in goal. I mean, I shouldn't have said it, but before the game, I said about how I like this keeper. And there's a couple of times the cross has come in, and I think it was a free kick that led to the second goal. Henderson wants to come and get those balls, and it's kind of against Manchester United goalkeeping because David De Gea, as good as he is, isn't aggressive in the air. So as I say, I think there was a lot more positive things than the Tottenham game, but at the same time, as Joleon said there was aspects I was looking at, like the passing was slightly out, slightly off. You're thinking, come on, someone bringing Phil Foden on. You're waiting for that change, and it didn't change in the way that we were hoping for. So frustrating, but
on to the next.
And
I guess then what will be I think we can all assume what the mood will be like in the dressing room. But what sort of the conversations now do you think that will be happening moving forward.
I think there'll be a lot of players self-analysing their performance, and then Pep will do it collectively, and I'm sure there would have been changes anyway, but I'm sure there'll be new faces coming into the game. But I think the fact, I genuinely believe they don't rely on their victories in the previous games. They will dismiss this as quickly. They will go into Wednesday thinking this is a fresh opportunity now, and again there'll be players coming in, new faces, new energy, new belief. So again, I'm not that worried. I'm upset that it's happened today, obviously, but I'm not worried. I'm not concerned about the future.
Not at all. I think question for you, Joleon, but I'm going to throw it to you, David. Sergio Aguero not coming on. You can't help but feel that would he have taken one of the chances that presented itself in the last 15, 20 minutes?
Of course, I mean, the problem I think you find is when a team loses, there is always a better option. And that's the point. It's like, he would have done this. Now, the fact is that we know that Sergio Aguero didn't score with every shot.
Yeah.
But there were positions there where you look at Jesus going through, you're thinking, oh, shoot, and he's looking to square it. You look at Raheem Sterling in the far post, and you're thinking, well, Aguero will score that.
Yeah.
And we've got the right to believe that as Man City fans or supporters because he has done enough of it. And yesterday, Sergio on his day, he's got 2 goals, Man City win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he wasn't on the field, and there's probably another option that would have also got goals. But yeah, that's the frustration of losing a game of football.
And I guess as well, we can't take the reaction now is going to be the biggest thing to get back. And if we take that Tottenham game as an example, look at what came after that.
Oh, definitely. And again, I think that will have. Or losing in the next 3 or 4. You know what I mean? It's more realistic to say we're going to go on and win the next 5 or 6. So again, it's just frustrating that it's United. But you got to look at it and think, did we do enough? And have we been doing a lot more than that to beat teams? And they came with a game plan. We have to respect what they were going to do and how they operated. But it was well executed by them. But again, we just was off it because we've played better teams than that and beat them. So again, you have to give a little bit of credit, but I'm not concerned.
No. Well, we can now hear from Mr. Kevin De Bruyne. Here he is speaking at full time.
Kevin, unfortunately your fabulous run has come to an end. What brought it about today?
Well, obviously I don't think we started very well today. And we knew, that's going to be hard. We played in the hand with the first goal, and I think we needed about 50 minutes to settle a bit. I think we were too rushed. And then I think we played pretty good, but I don't think obviously we didn't score today, and that made the difference. Made a mistake in the pressing with the second goal. From that point on, we tried to push, but it was not to be today.
Was the timing of both of their goals make it even more difficult for you?
Well, obviously it's not the best if you get behind after 1 minute, but you still got 90 minutes after that. The second one is maybe a little bit worse, but I think the mentality and the way of playing was the same like always. But today we just couldn't get the ball in.
Of course, all runs come to an end at some time. But was this the least opponent you wanted to end it with?
Wow. Obviously, it's not nice to lose the derby, but I think sometimes it happens. I think we have to move on, and Wednesday there's a new game, and we go focus on that and hopefully win that one.
Because it's so long since you last lost, what's it like dealing with it? The process. You still have a very, very healthy lead at the top of the table.
Well, obviously it's never nice to lose. We don't want that feeling, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's necessary to lose games and to have bad spells. But we overcome them that time, and we didn't overcome it today. And it's something you have to learn as a group, and sometimes it's a positive thing.
You had half chances today. Did you feel it was perhaps one of those days where it just wasn't going to happen for you?
Well, I think these half chances we should have scored, especially 3-4. But, it happens. We created chances. I have full confidence in the next game. We're going to put them back in, and that's the way it goes.
Kevin, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
always seems to have that fair and level-headedness after the game. That's Kevin De Bruyne speaking at full-time, of course. Our 2-0 loss to Manchester United. Kind of something he alluded to there. He says, it's kind of one of these things, but actually there's probably more lessons to be learned in that now than there will be out of the 21-game winning streak, I guess, David.
Yeah, as I said, Pep said, I think a few weeks ago, when someone referred to the fact that you're on a good run, they said, no, we're going to lose points. And I'm sure he said we're going to lose game or games. I've been joking about it when I've been covering Champions League because it was like, which games is he going to lose? No game, and Joleon, you know what it's like. You don't want to lose that game, but sometimes you need to.
Yeah.
And like Kevin so rightly said there, or so well said there, you have to move on to the next match. The plan is we want to win trophies by winning games of football, but at the same time, we know there is a chance we might lose some. We go on to the next game. Mm-hmm. It's better today than it is last game of the season, put it that way.
Yeah, really, really is. And I guess those little, again, it's as we see with these games at the highest level, it's always key moments, isn't it? Either a mistake at the in the defensive end or maybe not taking your chances. It does just come down to those beats.
That's it. That is exactly it. Everyone has to be on it for one team or another, and if they're not, mistakes will happen and you'll get punished because this is the top end, this is high quality, and everyone possesses something. So Kevin touched on it there was tweaks in the pressing for him to notice that and recognise that means that the game plan was set out to a T, but it just wasn't executed. And that's to say, when it's not executed the way Pep set out, and I think it has been over the last 20-odd games, you get punished.
Yeah. All right, gents. Well, we'll take a pause from the game, and we can now get into our Guess the Blue. Now, we had two guesses here in the studio. Let's just remind ourselves before we reveal who we were trying to work out today's blue was. It's a nice bit of relief to not talk about the game.
I need a win.
So
I need a win.
You were thinking Paulo
Yeah.
One-Chop.
I think Gelson Fernandez.
And you think Gelson Fernandez. I can now reveal in the gallery.
Oh, no way!
David!
You played with him.
Trevor used to do a really good Paolo One-Chop impersonation.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's right. Trevor Sinclair there, of course, was today's Guess the Blue. Absolutely genius. Well, listen, gentlemen, of course, not the result any of us wanted, but as always, an absolute pleasure to be with you, and thank you so much for your insight and analysis.
Can I just say, Rosie, you'll still have time to cheer and annoy the neighbours, don't worry.
Yes, of course. Don't worry, Rosie will be listening for you next time we're playing at home. But thank you so much for joining us as well. Listen, we are still very much in the run for 4 trophies. Next games are against Southampton, Fulham, and then Mönchengladbach in the Champions League. League Cup final, FA Cup final, 21-game winning streak. And like Alistair Mann said at the end, I think I'd much rather wake up as a Manchester City player when I look at the table rather than a Manchester United player. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Thank you.